Hey, anybody hear me? Having a little problem with StreamYard. My phone won't charge up and my tablet says I don't have an account. StreamYard's blank on there, so I don't know what we're going to do. And I can't see any chat either. Nice. Somebody comments so they know they can hear me. Anybody here? Hi. Oh, hi. Hi, T-Tree. Okay. Annabella Blue Roses. Okie dokie. Thank you. Oh, Wisconsin Mom is going to be a tad late. So I guess I'm going to have to go at this by myself. For a while anyway. Hi, Bob. Good to see ya. I don't know why I can't hear myself talk. Oh, hey, Kate, you. Glad to see you. Why can't I hear myself? Okay. So first, shall we do Candace or shall we do Rose? Bob wants to do Annabelle. Dillis was StreamYard. Rose. Okay. Let's start with Rose. There's so much misinformation out there about her, and I see a lot of people talking about her lately. Like, that her, oh, I'm sorry. I'm having a bad day today. That her father-in-law, the day that she went missing, she told Chris that she was going to be meeting her cousin to do karaoke. She did not mention Cushing. She just said they were going to do karaoke. And after she left, she called him and told him that she would be home by midnight. So after that, Chris didn't hear from her, but she was not going to meet her cousin. She had her cousin lie for her several times before. However, she hadn't talked to her about it that night, and I don't know why. Maybe she just figured that she'd covered for her so many times that she would do it again. So they did not have dinner with Rose's father-in-law that night. He had been out of state working all that week, so he wasn't even in the state. Chris and Rose went to the mall, got new phones, had the girls with them, and then stopped at a drive-through fast food place for dinner on the way home. Did he wait up for her? How? I wish she was in here. I try to remember what the deal was. He did fall asleep. And then when he woke up and she wasn't home, I know he tried calling her cousin several times, but her cousin doesn't have good phone reception there. She's kind of in a dead area. So he kept trying, and then I know he waited till morning, and then he got childcare, somebody to watch the kids, and then took off, went to her house to talk to her. And also went to her friend's parents' house because her friend lived out of state too, and called different people from there. And that's when he started looking around. So she did have 3 phones with her. She had her old phone, a phone that she had bought for a friend on the buddy plan that her friend wasn't using anymore, and then the new phone that she got that day. So she came home, switched her SIM card to the new phone, and then took all 3 phones and left. Hi, Dina Lynn. Nikki. Chris said that she mainly used the one phone for like an address book, which I don't know why. I guess it wasn't instant transfer back then. I don't remember. 2009 wasn't exactly like the dark ages, but okay, then she did not go to Cushing. She was not seen in Cushing. When he called her on the new phone, did it go to voicemail? Oh, Rose? Now that's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. Tea tree. Tree. I don't think I ever asked him that. Hi, Lisa Kleckner. Please said all calls after she called him went to voicemail, so I'm assuming that it did, but maybe Chris will join us. Still early. Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, they did say it all went to voicemail, so well, it would have went to, she used the same SIM card, so it would have been just like he was calling her old phone. And yeah, they did say everything went to voicemail. I don't think where she was, she would have been answering the phone right at that particular time. So what else? Her car was found 5 days later. It was not found by Candy. It was found by a municipal park, like a park patrol person, civilian parking patrol person or something. I think they look for, people parked in handicap spots and things. And so he reported the car, and the license plate information was actually incorrect on the poster, I guess. So the car did have damage on one side, but that had been there. And there were, all the fingerprints belonged to the family inside. And no cameras caught it being put in that spot. Actually, I don't know, I wish Wisconsin Mama was here. Hey, Eve Hickam, how are you? Welcome, everybody. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm a little scattered today. I had some upsetting news this week, and so I'm not thinking quite clearly. Are they sure the car was there before the day it was found? It was definitely not. And I've heard that it wasn't that far from where it was supposedly stored for those 4 or 5 days. How far from home? Well, she was in Grantsburg. I think that's 26 miles from St. Croix, I believe. So actually, that's the direction that she went. She did not go to, she did not go to St. Croix. So, there's a lot of rumors about what happened. People that supposedly were with her that night did give statements to the police, so I don't know what the deal is there. And a lot of the stuff that was out in the description and things were wrong. That wasn't exactly what she was wearing. No, they did not recover any of the phones, Lisa. And I think it's odd that they did not put out a description of the phones and her purse, different things that were missing, because, I mean, somebody could have found the purse or the phones in a ditch or something and, not have realized what was going on. Did I know her personally? No, I did not know her personally. No, that was before my time. She's quite a bit younger than I am. Trying to get a hold of some of her friends, and find out a little more about her background. I mean, personally, I heard that kids made fun of all the girls at school and on the bus. Um, One of her friends said that they threw things at Rose on the bus and gave her soap and deodorant, called her stinky and stuff. But, single dad, he was struggling to raise the kids without much support. And um, I'm sure it was rough. I mean, he didn't have a lot of money or advantages then, but he did what he could. Candy's mother, Rosetta, helped. Um, so what else? Any questions? I can't hear myself talk, so that's kind of a problem. Yeah, kids are cruel, aren't they? I had somebody on the school bus try to strangle me with my scarf one time. I don't know why, how they pick on people. I think people with not very much self-esteem, they can almost sense that, I think, and, zero in on kids like that. Makes them feel better about themselves, apparently. Yes, I don't know. So, um, why can't I hear myself talk? Anybody know? It's driving me nuts. Okay. Did she graduate? Yes, she did graduate. Yeah. Candace graduated too. Um, Rose graduated from St. Croix, and I can't remember. I have where Candace graduated written down somewhere. Um, what else did I want to address? Um, oh yes, Annabelle, absolutely. And a lot of people go out of their way to do things cruel just to have something to post on social media. And I think that's terrible. Um, yeah, I don't understand that at all. It's like they try to do the most outrageous things. Oh boy, Kate, you. Um, she doesn't really like to have her name mentioned, but she does comment in some groups and she comments on Facebook on her page. I have seen her comment occasionally on a YouTube channel. She's worked very hard at trying to find out, what happened to Rose. She's worked her contacts in town this whole entire time. So And Candy also has gone to the conventions and has kept in touch with the police. So they both worked very diligently. Oh, Dina Lynn, that's terrible. I watched some of those things with people that are having surgery on different disorders and tumors and things, and God, you feel so sorry for them. I don't think it bothers them as much when kids point and stare and ask because kids are so innocent, but adults can just be so cruel. I think teenagers too. Yeah, Kate, everybody is working really hard on that case. I know the police are. I know they've done things very recently, as far as the case is concerned. Hi, Pom. Good to see you. Where's Ronald Wilson? He only likes Wisconsin Mom, I guess. He doesn't like me. So what are some other rumors in Rose's case? Oh, that Rose's sister was having an affair with Chris. That was not true. I also heard Rose was having an affair with Don, and Chris found out. Of course, that's ridiculous. I heard a lot of wild rumors. Infidelity was not involved in what happened to Rose. I can tell you that. Well, I mean, she was having an affair, but that's not the reason that she got killed. Oh, laser surgery. How many years between Rose? There's 2 years between each of the girls. Hi, Jan. Thanks. Yeah, the girls are all 2 years apart. Yeah, Fred's a liar. Rose was never in Tennessee. I can't understand why he's saying that. And he said he knew her, not just that he saw her, but he said he knew her. So I have no idea what he's talking about there. He also said that he doesn't do drugs. He only smokes pot. So, oh, hi, Curse of Curiosity. Yeah, we just touched on that. That is not true. No. She and her dad, she lived with Jim in his trailer, and the winter before Rose went missing, she and her dad did stay at Chris's dad's with them for, I believe, 3 months because they couldn't keep the trailer heated. It was particularly cold. So then they moved out. I mean, there's a lot of people in that house. So, Chris's dad took in anybody hard on their luck, anybody with a drug problem, anybody homeless. Yeah, Candace said she doesn't do drugs on Daisy. She also said she had morals. I saw that screenshot when her boyfriend tried to contact her, their ex, and she said, I have morals, as to why she wouldn't answer. Do I know if Candace is back in Tennessee? I have heard that she is, but I can't tell you who said that, but it's somebody that talks to Candace quite frequently. Who doesn't she talk to? Candace and Don? I swear, no wonder their phones are always being shut off. They talk to people all day long, all of them. I have dozens of people that talk to each of them contacting me every day telling me what they're saying. Supposedly people have seen Don and Candace in town at stores shopping, buying stuff, food and things that they need now that they're back. Okay, just a minute. I got to go back up. Hey, Lips. How are you? Oh, yes, he is still alive, Kate. He does not live in Wisconsin anymore. But, on a lot of groups, on YouTube where people talked about Rose, I used to see people comment quite often, "Yeah, I lived there," and then I'm like to Chris, "Do you remember her?" And he's like, "Oh, that was long after he was gone." But, his dad would just, yeah, try to give people a hand up. I think he was really good-hearted. He was very good to Rose. He bought her car, bought her horse, gave her money every week. Um, he really liked Rose. Rose actually lived there before she and Chris were together and took care of his dad's horses. So let's see. What's the relationship like with Candace and her other sister? I do not believe they are speaking at the moment. But I mean, it hasn't always been rocky. I mean, she was down there, and stayed with them on Dunn Hill. So, okay. Yeah, cursed. I heard that too. Okay. What do I think of the baby story? Yeah. Okay. That's not. Wait, what about Chris's mom? Chris's mom died when he was young. So his mom was not around. Who is still alive? Chris's dad or Rose's dad? Chris's dad is still alive. Rose's dad died shortly before Summer went missing. Okay, now let's go up to the baby rumor. Okay, Jailer, he's not, I don't know if he's not misunderstanding, if he's misunderstanding or if it's his guests, the commenters. But here's what we're going to read. Because we've known, I mean, quite a few of us have known about that baby from the start, from back when Summer first went missing. We knew there was another baby. And, the other sister and I tried to steer people away from that because the baby's had a hard enough life, really, seriously. People don't need to be tracking her down. Bullhorn Betty doesn't need to show up on her doorstep. And so if I would see someone mention it, I would instant message them and have them, ask them to take their post down. And everyone did. So they all kept it a secret. And then there was, yeah. Hey, Lips. So, there was a baby. She did have in Arkansas. She was so high on meth, she didn't even know she was delivering a baby. So that baby was taken at the hospital. And actually, 2 adoptions kind of fell through. And then the baby was adopted. And people don't need to oh, hey, crime girl down under. Yeah, people don't need to be hounding these kids. What does this have to do with Summer? It has nothing to do with Summer. Nothing. So here's what JLR's, I got to give him credit. He does do good FOIA requests and gets good information. Here's the officer's statement. I made contact with Candace Bly. Bly told us she wanted to go to her ex-boyfriend Michael Holland's house to receive her mail. She continued saying that at approximately 11:30, she called him on the phone and started asking how she could get her mail from him. While she was talking to him, she told Michael that she was with her new boyfriend, Richard. So we all know Richard Hanner's the one that she was caught returning stolen goods at Walmart. She really likes Walmart. And then Michael got angry. Bly said he got angry and then said he was going to kill her and the baby. She continued saying that her ex-boyfriend Michael thinks she's pregnant, but she is not. Michael also said he was going to get someone to hurt her new boyfriend Richard. After he made those threats, Bly hung up the phone. Okay, he talked to Michael and he said, what's he going to do when the baby comes out black? Well, there was no baby. I know JLR's going, a baby. He's going to kill Candace and the baby. There was no baby. He's just was trying to rile Candace's boyfriend, Richard, rile him up with this black baby and that she's pregnant and everything. That is not who she had the baby with. She was not pregnant then. There's all these mystery babies. So this is not a mystery baby. Right? I don't know why. And people are like, oh, baby, gonna kill her and the baby. Well, he meant kill her and she was pregnant, so he'd be killing the baby. That's what he's saying. She didn't have a baby then. She certainly got a lot of boyfriends, though. Say that for her. Is it possible there is another baby that no one is aware of? I suppose anything is possible, but someone would know. I mean, her mother would know, her sister would know. I mean, I pretty much got the rundown on all the babies she ever had long ago. Oh, so I don't think the judge. Oh, brokenhearted. Hi. What did she do? Tell him she was pregnant to get him to think that? I don't know. This is all I know is what is in here. And she said that he kept saying that her ex-boyfriend Michael thinks she's pregnant, but she is not. So it's not like Candace is the most honest person. No, but you'd have to know the times involved. And she was pretty much having kids all along. And I had trouble fitting that one in Arkansas in there. So if you've tracked her and know where she was when, who she was with, and when she had each of her kids, there isn't a spot for her to have another one. So, yeah, I don't know. Look at you guys, all she must be hot stuff. Where's the Wisconsin mama? So, no, I don't think there's a baby. No, because, no, her immediate family would know. Yeah. Okay, JLR. Yeah, did I answer your question, KU? I don't know. She certainly attracts the guys, but, I think in drug circles, like they're all addicts. Maybe they're not too picky. That's another thing now. They were saying that Candace, oh, all these people are dying. She's a serial killer. Serial killer? What? A serial killer? Who she killed? The boyfriend that she had the baby with died of a drug overdose. JLR even said that. He read it, that the police responded to him and said it was an accidental drug overdose. So, I mean, he wasn't even with Candace at that time. So, how did she kill him? How are they serial killers? There's a long way from stealing someone's underwear and stealing items from Walmart and being a serial killer. I don't get that. I know, Annabelle. It's crazy. I've got people saying, oh, Don's behavior's been escalating his whole life and this and that. And yeah, I don't see them being killers. I'm sorry. I think it was probably an accident and they did cover it up. Who knows what the reason is, because who knows how their brain works, but I know they didn't want to go back to jail. That's another thing. Don B, his theory is that Summer was the only child under 8, and Don could get an automatic felony if it was found that she was abused, and he didn't want to go back to prison. Well, I keep explaining to him that's not Tennessee's 3-strike law. Tennessee's 3-strike law, Don does not have any strikes because they don't count nonviolent felonies and they do not count drug felonies. So, excuse me. So Don would not fear going to jail. And Sherry got 2 charges of abuse and neglect of a child under 8, and she just got pretrial diversion and had it wiped from her record, so she didn't go to prison. Don doesn't understand legal things, I don't think. Ask Don about those bloomers. And Daisy denies that ever happened. I don't know why she thinks a notarized police report is fake, but I don't know. I believe that. I have seen JLR fake things before, but not this. This is true. Another thing now we have is Candy having a sealed child abuse record in Wisconsin. That's not true. If a sealed record, you can see Uncle Warren's record. He has 2 convictions, one in 84. That one is sealed. You can see it, but when you click on it, it says you are not allowed permission to see this. So the other one, you can see that you can't. Some of the records are sealed, but the case is not sealed. But his first case in 84 is sealed. So, I mean, you can still see the cases. A sealed case doesn't mean you can't see it. It doesn't mean it's hidden. It just means you can't get the files. So Candy doesn't have any record. She doesn't have any record of child abuse, or she didn't kill Rose either. Just okay, Missy Demeanors. I like your name. Stealing underwear was not as problematic to me as stealing that red underwear and being in the company of a minor. No, he did not. He was not in the company of a minor. Hey, Wisconsin Mama. Just a minute. Oh, how do I put this in the chat now? Oh, crap. How do I do this? Oh, go up and try to. Oh, you can't. Okay, wait. I'm getting behind. He was not in the company of minors. The police were on patrol on their bikes in that neighborhood and came upon some minors, and they told him that Don, that their friend lived at that house, and that Don had been hanging around in the van, and that he did not belong there. So it was that lady's son's friend and his friends that were there. They were not people that were in the company of Don. So did Warren abuse Candace? No, he never met any of the girls. Candace was born in 82. Warren went to prison the first time in 84. No, none of the family ever had anything to do with Warren, and he never met any of the girls. Everyone was kept away from Warren. Where is Candy at the moment? She is, her brother-in-law died, so she is with family. Yes, Warren is still guilty of incest. Oh, Wisconsin Mama, I can't. I need you up here. I got a problem with my StreamYard, though. God darn it. How did we do this before? You're not even showing up in the someone I can invite. Okay. Yes, Warren is guilty of incest. He's a very dangerous person. He got out. I can't get any records, of course, from 84, but because that is a sealed case. But his mother is the one that caught him and turned him in. So Nobody had anything to do with Warren, even his own mother. So if it wasn't Warren, which family member abused Candace? I don't believe Candace was ever abused by a family member. Judge, what makes you think that? Dina Lynn, yeah, he actually did escape once and had contact with I believe, 14-year-old boy. He did have contact with a minor. He was not charged again, but they did have a hearing about that, and his, parole or whatever was revoked. So, yeah, he's in that facility. It's only a 4-bed facility, so there's not so many people that can't handle it, I don't think. And he's way out in the middle of nowhere, but yes, sealed. And his second victim, I do know who that is, and she does not need to be outed. Certain people in these cases have been protected. One is Rose's cousin, and one is Warren's victim. And, for the longest while, Candace's third baby, but that came out. Yeah, Judge, I do not believe that is true. I don't know who that would be. It wasn't her grandfather because she said he was her best friend. It wasn't her dad. Yeah, they were never around Warren. I don't believe that. Yeah. There's a lot of things out there on the YouTube streets that aren't exactly true. Yeah, Warren, it's very odd because I've looked all through his records and read everything that's out there. And the state of Wisconsin tried to have him declared a sexually dangerous offender so that he could not get out. And then they had him psychologically examined. And once all that paperwork was back, the state dropped their request. Now, why would they do that? Is he not a sexually dangerous offender? And so they felt they couldn't prove that? But yet he got found. I don't know. I don't understand that. I don't know. Interesting. But I think he's a sexually dangerous offender. Yeah, I wouldn't want him around me. It's good that he's way out there in the middle of godforsaken nowhere, I think. And hopefully they're keeping a good eye on him. He did get glowing reports for his, year that he had the job and the reduced supervision for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I think he's dangerous. Chris Marcos, I also think is very dangerous. Very, very violent, very dangerous person. Although he did not have anything to do with Summer. What else do we want to talk about? It seems like there was more I wanted to say about Rose, but I can't remember at the moment. Wisconsin Mama, what do you have to say? I wish I could, oh, my phone's actually not going dead. So, let's see. Other than Candace and Don being serial killers, I don't know. I wished Justin had some info for me about Don's PO officer, but we haven't connected yet. Marcos is who exactly? Oh, Crime Girl Down Under there. Candace and Don are Candace and Don are in Tennessee. People have seen them at the grocery store. And they confirmed to Lips that they were in Tennessee. Yeah, Lips, are you still in here? Hey, babe. Answer that question. Don's living in Tennessee. He had to come back. I think he had to meet with his probation officer yesterday, I believe, or the day before. Okay, Lips, what did you hear from Don? Is he working at all? Do you know? You're more up on that than I am. I know, Annabelle, they have been very quiet, very close mouth. Candace won't even go up on Daisy's panel. She said she'll just hang out and chat. I don't know. I was in there under my, because I'm blocked in Daisy's, of course, because I'm a liar. And I was in there under my other account, Quilter, which everyone knows is me. So she saw me in there. And then she said, oh, well, that's okay if I didn't cause trouble. And then all of a sudden I'm timed out. Well, I know who timed me out. Candace is in there as a mod. Not there yet. No. Has anyone... Wait, I know I'm hungry. Okay, Marcos, Lisa Klackner. Chris Marcos is originally Chris Harris, Hairus, I believe. And he is a step nephew to Candy. And then he married Candy's niece. So kind of a double relation to the Hare family, which doesn't surprise me. Everybody's hungry. All I've had is a pretzel. I got some more heart tests tomorrow I'm really excited about. Maybe they can figure out why I can't breathe. Yeah, so Chris Marcos is a registered sex offender, is married to Candy's niece, and a stepson to I don't know, brother, sister. Anyway, double relation there. And he was in California with his wife when Rose went missing. And he was on camera at work in Wisconsin when Summer went missing, so he was not involved, although, there's so many sex offenders there. And, of course, Sonia. But then Mary said, Don's stepdad sexually abused the kids. So it seems like the people in this story that are married to sex offenders were sexually abused themselves. I found several. And I don't know why that makes, I guess it makes it more acceptable, more understandable. I don't know. Why was all contact stopped? Do they have any good family members? Candy's mother, Rosetta, she was awesome. She helped raise the kids. She helped raise the grandkids. Everyone loved her. She was a very good person. The girl's dad, Jim, also known as a very good person. Well thought of in the community. Good sense of humor. Said he always had a joke. Why was all contact stopped with the Wells kids? I do not know that. Nobody. Oh, with Don, I do not know why Candy cannot have contact. Nobody seems to know that. But Don and Candace called the kids while she was drunk, and then the foster parents reported her. No one seems to ever talk about anything good on either side of the family. Well, I don't think there's a lot on Don's side that is good, to tell you the truth. And you notice Don and Candace don't really have any long-term friends at all. I mean, doesn't everybody have people they've been friends with for decades? People that you hang out with. Maybe if you're an addict, it's different. I don't know. I think if in order to become sober, you do have to have a different set of friends. Oh, thank you, Judge. Yes, there is good stuff there. There are good people there. Candace has Candy has, other brothers and sisters that are good people too. So, yeah, Don's side? I don't know. Oh, thank you, Missy. I try. I try to do just facts. And if I'm wrong, please correct me, and I'll be happy to put out a retraction or correction. So why is another creator saying that Candace broke Don's eardrum? She did. She hit him in the ear and busted it. Yeah, that's pretty widely known. I don't think that was. Seems like that was on tape, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't know. Any other questions? I can't believe boy, we got a rain here. We needed rain for so long and then it hasn't stopped. I could just hear it thundering. Any other questions? What else do I want to say? Anything about Rose? How much strength would that take? Well, I think Candace would be able to deliver a pretty good punch if she wanted to. She's had a lot of practice. She's been beating people up since grade school. And then, of course, she stabbed the principal with a pencil. I actually was stabbed with a pencil in the hallway of high school. It's just really crowded. People walking, I guess, carrying the pencil and stab me in the groin. I still have a lead there. Yeah, Candace told the story about the police come and taking her away and putting her in jail for a while. And yeah, I doubt that that's true. I mean, yes, that would be sealed, but I mean, they don't usually put second graders in jail, I don't think. We're in handcuffs. Interesting. Oh, well. Ouch. I've had a lot worse things than that. Yes, the eardrum. A lot of people say that Don punched Candace in the throat. Now that was on, I believe, Molly Golightly's, and nobody saw that. They heard what they heard. They heard Don hit the door, and Candace said, "You just hit me in the throat." Well, if somebody hits you in the throat, you aren't talking and screaming normally right after that. I mean, that kind of takes the wind out of you, and you can't talk for a minute or two. Don hit the door. People still insist that Don hit Candace in the throat, and they're convinced that they actually saw it. Well, it wasn't even video. It was just it was a phone call, so they didn't see anything. Yeah, exactly, Annabelle. You could hear it but not see it. So I guess you can morph that into anything you want. Are Ellie any closer with Rose Bly's case? I wish I had some good news. I am going to head there. I have a big retreat I'm putting on in August, and then I am going to head up to Wisconsin and meet with them, and but of course they aren't going to tell me too much. What I have heard is that the DA keeps saying they don't have enough evidence, so he will not bring charges. So Are they any closer? They know what happened. They know who did it. They know where he is. But as far as bringing evidence, having enough evidence, I believe that it would be beneficial to have a grand jury because people are afraid. People in town are afraid to talk. I mean, they are very afraid. And so I think if they had a grand jury and people could testify, um, and have it be sealed, I think they'd be more likely to talk, and maybe that would lead them to some new evidence they could use. So, yes, yeah, both cases are. Rose's is a little easier to figure out, I think, than Summer's. I don't have any idea what happened to Summer. I really don't. And there's no trail to follow. With Rose, there was a trail. I was given some names and I followed the breadcrumbs. Oh, yes, and I think there is abuse in that marriage. And yes, I do think, Judge, you're right. They're both physically abusive to each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't think Candace is, the poor little abused spouse. I think she can definitely give as good as she can take. Is there a reward for Rose? Yes, there is. There was a community rummage sale. They rented a building and had people donate things, and they had a rummage sale and got around $2,000. And I believe five or $600 went to hire a private detective. And he killed himself. Not long after that, he didn't really find anything that I can find. And then the rest of it is sitting in the bank waiting for information. Yes, sir. The reward's still sitting there after all these years. If that is the case, can't they get some circumstantial evidence? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go up there and rattle their cage. They don't want me to talk about the case. They said I'm hurting the prosecution, but what prosecution? I haven't seen one. I know I do know some things that I, haven't said because I do think they would hurt the case if I did say them. But if you knew what it was, you'd wonder how well they really investigated it at the beginning, because there's just some glaring. Detroit. Hey, babe. People won't talk in a small town until 20 years have passed. Oh, yes. Do you have another case you would like me to look into? Yes, I did have someone contact me about his brother's case. He contacted me through the Boy in the Box board. So yeah, sure. I'll look into anything. How do you think Rose was killed? That's a hard one. I think she was shot. I think she was shot. But I don't know. A big reward could help. And I have thought of that too. I was going to ask that when I go there, if law enforcement wouldn't pony up a reward. I think we need a bigger reward and maybe publicize it. It's not really big enough, for crying out loud. $70,000 for Summer's case, and people wouldn't talk for that. People aren't going to talk for the $1,400 for Rose. I mean, you have to make the reward greater than the risk, right? Yes, connected to law enforcement. That was a problem there. And that's a fear of people that know things now, is retribution from law enforcement, even now. What is my number one theory on Summer's disappearance? I believe there was some type of accident and they covered it up, is what I think. I don't think it was pre-planned, simply because, Candace called Don. Don had Candace take the drugs over to Fred Hill's. So, I mean, they would have taken the drugs out of the house long before that day, that afternoon, if they had planned to have Summer disappear. That wouldn't make sense that they would wait till afterwards and then be flying around trying to cover things up. They're smarter than that. What do I think of Fred Hill's statements? I don't, with him with saying Rose was prostituting herself out of a trailer, and then that he doesn't use drugs. So I don't think he really has any credibility, really. I don't know what his angle is here. Well, obviously he wants to get out of jail, but other than that, I don't know. I think he has a crush on Ziggy. And those drugs were there, why? Hi, Alessia. The drugs they used. Or could it have been more than that? I don't know. All I know is she took him over there. Fred wasn't home. Where was Fred then? Why wasn't Fred home? Billy saw Candace over at Fred's and knew that Fred wasn't home. So she dropped off the drugs. Don went to get him later and Fred wouldn't give him back, of course. Why would he? That wasn't very good thinking. Oh, wait, okay. Do you think Grandma knows what happened to Summer? I do not, no. She knows more than what she said, publicly, but no, I don't think she does. And she's done more in this case than what people think. So I just wish people would reserve judgment on her until everything comes out. And that's all I'm going to say about that. About Cotton hiding Summer's body. Somebody talked about Cotton, how Fred said he fell off a cliff. I did some digging into that because someone questioned that. I can't find any report of that or any reference to what he died from. I did see that he was rescued in a fire like 3 or 4 years before he died. That was a pretty big deal, and that was in the paper quite a bit. They saved his life. He was surrounded by fire. But that's all I found about him. So I don't know, is that even true? Is anything Fred said true? I don't think Cotton had anything to do with Summer, no. I looked at his obituary page, and honestly, I look at a lot of obituaries and a lot of messages. Of course, that's part of research, looking at people who comment and what they comment. And I have honestly never seen so many people comment about what a nice person Cotton was than I have anywhere else. He definitely had a lot of friends that thought highly of him. So I think that says something too. I am ticked off. Oh, at Truckee, Nevada. Oh, boy. We're going to disagree with that, Murgatroyd. I think that's pretty much solved. But yeah, I'll look around and see what I can find. I thought maybe you had one in particular you wanted me to look into. So you don't think they were running drugs? I don't know. I mean, who isn't a drug kingpin? Supposedly, you got Crystal saying Squalta is Becca Crawford and her husband is the drug kingpin of Hawkins County, although that's not who Squelta is or who she's married to. And then we've got Fred, who's the drug kingpin of Hawkins County. And we get Don, and we got Andy Bernard, who's the drug kingpin of Hawkins County. I mean, how many drug kingpins do they have anyway? And I don't see anybody living really high on the hog. Fred doesn't have money for bail. Andy Bernard doesn't have a dime. Where's the money? Where's the money? Anybody any ideas where the money was? We don't know for a fact. That was why Candace went to Fred's, do we? Yes. Yes. I believe we do. I've heard that from a couple different sources and that Don went over to get him back that night. And I do believe that is the truth. I mean, we don't have any proof really of anything here. Was Fred home when Candace dropped the drugs off? No, he wasn't home. Billy Arnold saw Candace over there, and that's pretty well known that Fred wasn't at home then. So yeah, where was he? And what kind of drugs? Now that I don't know either. You'd think meth, but Candace and Don used coke. They didn't use meth. I don't know. There's a lot we don't know. But yeah, then Don was supposedly mad at Fred because he went over there, and that's true. He was seen over there that night, and Fred wouldn't give the drugs back. So there's no reports at all of how Cotton died. I know I've looked for articles, anything. Oh, Judge, hi. You know Cotton's family, he really did fall to his death. Was it in the park? Where he worked there at Laurel? Alan Tanks, hi. Who do you suspect is involved with helping them hide Summer? That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Isn't it a mystery? How could this happen? How could they, the law enforcement has the comings and goings of that camera on the house at the corner, so they know exactly who went up and down that road and what time they went, and that's how they know Candace left twice. So one time she went to the church, right? I don't know if they're counting the time she left in the morning, or are they saying she left twice after Summer went missing? And the trip across to Fred's wouldn't count because that wouldn't be on camera. So I don't know. I suppose she could have called Don, and Don could have called someone to meet her, because I know Don didn't get home until after the cops got there. He obviously told her to take the drugs over. So what else did he tell her to do? And where were the boys when all this was happening? And why were the boys so unaffected? Why were they down laughing and playing by the creek after Summer went missing? Because they're recorded on that GoPro. And then the next day they're laughing and giggling and living it up at the golf course with the mini golf place with David Dodson. So I just think that's really odd too. Yeah, I don't think Cotton is involved. Alan Tanks, yep. Hi, child of God. Yep, Wisconsin mom, that's exactly what I think. She took the drugs. Yep, they did all that cleanup, and then they called 911. So that's why there's such a big time difference there. The time lost. Why didn't they just, I don't know. Were they thinking, I don't think the cops would have cared about the drugs, honestly, at that point. I mean, you see, when they investigate a homicide, cops don't care about drug drug dealers or anything. They're just interested in whatever crime they're investigating. So I don't know. Who knows why they did what they did? Who knows why they think what they think? I think their brains are damaged, obviously, from all this abuse of alcohol and drugs. So who knows how they think? Yeah, their noses. Maybe they all specialize. Fred has money home for bail if you listen to. She was asking people to put money on his books. Oh my goodness. Did Don really own 80 grand? I do not believe that. No. Oh, 80 grand. No. Who's going to give Don Wells credit? Nobody. No, I don't believe that. And I don't believe he's involved in any cartels. 99% of anything Don Wells says is bullshit. And I know he deliberately tells different YouTube creators different stories and sits back and watches them all go at each other. And he thinks it's funny. He thinks he's controlling things. He did. He said he wasn't telling anybody anything he didn't want him to know. So, you know, so why is he playing these games? Why isn't he looking for his daughter? I mean, messing with YouTube's minds is like his greatest pleasure at the moment. Oh, yes, Daniel Robinson. That is. I should look into that, Murgatroyd. I have read a bit about that, but how did Fred know she left drugs at his place if he wasn't home? I suppose he came home and found him there. I don't know. I don't think anybody there locks their doors, do they? Oh, Laurel Falls is where he fell. That's too bad. He was seemed like he was quite an outdoorsy person. Liked to hike and do a lot of things out. Oh, okay. Be the Bean High. Oh, okay. I was mistaken. He worked at Warriors Path and he fell at Laurel Falls. The Laurel Falls looks very pretty there. I'm not an outdoor person though. Chapstick, hi. I'm behind, but want to say it's always been interesting that Rose's kids were the same age as, and CB and her sister. Rose's kids were the same age as, and CB and her sisters were the same age as. That is interesting. I don't think that has any bearing, but yeah. Oh, that's another thing I should clear up is that I've seen this so much lately. Rose was not getting custody of Candace's children, and she never was. She was 15 when she reported Rose to CPS, or I mean Candace, because Candace dropped the kids off at Jen's and left and went out partying and just, didn't come back. So they reported her to CPS, and then they were adopted. So Rose was 15. She wasn't getting, adopting or getting foster care of anybody's kids at 15. I mean, that's why she called DCS. So somebody would take care of them. And, even if Candace was upset, that was 6 years before Rose went missing. So, I mean, Rose, had visited with Candace out of state after that. So there wasn't, hard feelings there. So that's a lot of, Laurel Run. If Cotton fell, why was there no report of that? Yeah, I can't find any report of that either. Yeah, I do think the boys acted very strange. You don't think Summer ever got out of the truck? Um, I suppose it's possible. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Some kind of accident. But Summer could have gotten out of the truck by herself. I mean, she was 5. If it was that hot, plus they got the milk out, so that would have woken her up. You know, they got the groceries out. Although I don't think that was that day. And I'm going to die on that hill. I do not think the milk video was that day. Sorry. Nobody was sad Summer was gone. No, really. A party at the Wells the night before, I do not believe there was. No. You don't think there was a party there? No. Nobody's ever said anything about a party. Nobody's ever said about being there at a party. You know, Don got up at the crack of dawn to go to work that morning. Jody Sue and Andy were there the afternoon before, but Jody Sue would have said something about a party. You know, I think that's another rumor. And CPS being there the day before about the boys with the guns, that's bullshit too. So, do you think the parents would eventually be in jail? Um, if it keeps going on like this, I don't think so. The only thing I can see is maybe something the boys said, but boy, oh boy, it's been 2 years. And I know they've had counseling this whole entire time. Um, so I don't know. They must have talked. They must have told about that day if they knew anything. I don't know. It's a mystery. I don't think we're going to figure it out here tonight, but right. I don't think anybody, the judge, you're right. Nobody is going to give Don any credit. Seriously? Yeah. No. All the guy's ever done all his life is steal. And he's pretty piss poor at it too because he gets caught, I think, in almost everything he does. They're both glad the children are gone. You know, Don at first did want the boys back. And I know when he was in jail, he was pretty upset about Candace not caring and not trying to clean up. You know, he had quit drinking after the DUI arrest. He was going to AA in town. People said that they saw him there, although you're not supposed to say that, but um, he wasn't clean of drugs, but he did quit drinking. Um, so, and I heard he tried to get Candace to cut down and she just kicked him out of the house. So, yeah, you can't make anybody do that if they're not ready. And if this is at rock bottom, what is? Aren't they at rock bottom? Can it really get any worse? Can they lose anything else? I don't know. Oh, Eve. That's great. I try to analyze it in a logical fashion. So I'm glad we think alike. I agree, Jug. Okay. The Wells brought this on themselves. Yes, they did. Cotton was outdoorsy, but in February, I'd imagine the rocks were icy. You know, how was he found? Was he with people when he fell? Who's Joni? Who's Joni W? Says CBLS twins around 2008 in Arkansas. No, she had a girl in 2008 in Arkansas. 2008? No, I'm sorry, that's not correct. She had that baby earlier. She did not lose twins in 2008 in Arkansas because Josie was born in 2008. Because he was a year old when Rose went missing in August 2009. There's just I got the baby things all figured out. There's no room in there for anything else. If there's anything good Candace did, she made beautiful children. Yes, and the older two, are doing good. They seem to have carved out lives for themselves. Andy is not now and never has been in an institution. He's fine. I find it interesting that he likes collecting rocks and fishing. It just seems to be in their blood there in the hairs, doesn't it? I agree with yes. I think the boys they're in a very good situation. The family is able to provide them with a lot of things that they were not getting. And for Don to say the boys are living high off the hog, I mean, isn't that what you'd want for your children? That they would do well, that they would have all that you'd want for them. I don't understand they're his children. He should be happy that they're in a good situation, that they're getting physical and mental care and love and, advantages. Yeah, no one being sad that summer's gone. No one. I've heard that Candy has cried a few times for summer. I don't know that for a fact, but I've heard people say that she did. I know she cries about Rose. My heart goes out to the boys, but do you think that one of the boys, I don't really want to go into depth about that, but it is possible. I mean, yeah, that is a possibility. But yet we don't want to put that on the boys. They must have said something about that day. I don't know. Of course, when you're kids, maybe things don't affect you that much. Or maybe they know something we didn't know. I don't know. She posted on Candace's Facebook, her address checks out. Chopsticks, she couldn't. She had Josie. She had Josie in 2008. So she wouldn't have had time to have be pregnant in 2008 with any other kids. Yeah, but Jackie and Teresa West, there was some evidence there. There's no evidence. It's not that they need a body. They don't need Summer's body, but they need some evidence. The first thing you have to do is prove that the person is dead. And they can't prove that. There's different ways to prove that. There's, massive amount of blood that someone couldn't survive. If you'd have that's usually how they prove that someone died. If you have I've seen cases where they found a piece of brain tissue that was from deep enough in the brain that you could not survive that injury, so they could prove that the person was dead. You have to be able to prove that she's dead, and they just can't do that at this point that I know about. Alan Tanks, it seems like you and Lisa Kay have the exact same theory as me. I'm glad to be here to discuss with people who think about it similar to me. Thank you, Alan Tanks. We're happy you're here. Yeah, they are at rock bottom. I don't think, that's sad. The judge. I feel sorry for him. It seemed like he was really loved by his family and friends, and God, retired, and yeah, that's sad. I feel sorry for him, and I feel even worse that now he's being drug into this and blamed just because he's deceased and not here to defend himself. I think that's horrible. Cotton's GC says he fell to his death. I'm looking, Kate. I've looked in newspapers, and I have a couple other places I can go. Okay, those people who made all these things up never looked at the years. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I always say. A calendar and a watch are good things to have when you're looking at stuff, for crying out loud. I've also heard recently Rose was going to testify against Uncle Warren um, the week that she disappeared. Huh? For what? She never even met Uncle Warren. Uncle Warren was locked away. What would she have to testify? Where was she going to testify? What? People just make things up. Why are you so sure that Rose is not buried in Crux Meadows? Um, there's rumors about where she is buried. I've never heard Crux Meadows mentioned. People say the Barrens too, but I don't know. A lady did see Rose's car with two men with beer bottles by the side of a road. I'm not going to mention what road. That weekend. And two men mentioned to people they worked with that they were in Rose's car that weekend. So, it wasn't your Crux Meadows. I suppose anything is possible. I don't know. I'm happy the boys are in a good place. They are. The family really wants them. So, yeah, I don't hate you, but you got to figure, she had the other baby in there. She had the girl that she gave away. And there's hardly room for that baby to fit in there. And then she got with Don and got pregnant with Josie. Because she would have gotten pregnant with Josie in 2007, right? Because he was a year old in 2009. In August. Almost. So, yeah. There's no way she had any other kids in 2008. Why in the world would Candace not give L.E. the last clothes Summer was wearing? We don't know what clothes Summer was wearing. I don't think the milk jug were the clothes she was wearing that day. Where's the swimsuit, though? That's the only thing we know she was wearing that day. So where's that? And Summer had a gazillion pairs of shoes. I've looked at her picture. She had a ton of shoes. Surely there was something there that Candace could have given them other than a sock, which could have had anyone's scent on it. I don't know. I mean, even bedding or something, pillow, something. I don't know. The whole thing is very odd. I don't know. Where's that swimsuit, though? Yeah, Cotton's family, I'm sure they're not. And there's nothing you can do about it either. You can't prove a negative. Alessia, people don't seem to know how long ago Uncle Warren was put away. Yeah, he was put away in 1984. So Candace was born in 1982. And yeah, they never knew him. So which is a good thing. We all heard you're a dumbass. They saw you. I know. And crickets from D. I know, but like she says, they all saw you punch me in the throat. Nobody saw anything. It wasn't a video thing. It was sound. I don't know. When you get punched in the throat, you can't talk. It takes the wind out of you. I know. I worry Don and Candace will not be alive. I think that Candace would be likely to die before Don. She just drinks way too much. I don't know how she's kept on this long. And when you look at all the people surrounding the case, and they're like, "Oh, look, all these people are dying." That Candace and Don are serial killers. Well, they're addicts. Their friends are all addicts. I mean, addicts die quite frequently, all the time. So I'm actually surprised that Don and Candace are still alive, especially Don. How did he get to be 60 and be an addict? I mean, a serious addict all these years and still be here. I don't think he has the kind of friends around that if he OD'd would call 911. Seriously. Was that Chris Marcos in Tennessee at the time Summer went missing? No. Working on a fence with Frank Light? No. I remember when that went around, and that was someone else entirely. That was a huge misunderstanding, and it morphed into Chris Marcos, and there was something helping him with a fence, but it was not Chris Marcos. Chris Marcos was on camera at work in Wisconsin that day. No, he doesn't even know Frank. Nana. Yeah. Nana, you don't want to get me started on Nana. Yes, Mariah. I think he's a manager there, isn't he, at the gas station? And I think Connie works there also, doesn't she? Or she did. Could Rose be where Summer is? No. Rose is in Wisconsin. Summer's probably in Tennessee. She had lots of lightweight outfits. Summer had a lot of adorable little dresses. Why don't we talk about that? What the hell happened after the Jose incident? It seemed like everything went to hell. I mean, the kids, especially Summer, was always well-groomed, hair combed and styled, the cutest little outfits, always smiling, always taking the kids places and doing things. It just seemed like, and everybody saw it, how Summer deteriorated after the Jose episode. What do you think happened there? I know, what did Candace blew out her hip, and I think that the housekeeping went down, but I don't know. It was so obvious of a deterioration. It's too bad nobody did anything. Yeah, KU, yeah. You would ask for the swimsuit, you'd think. What? Tiffany's mods are still claiming that. Oh my God. I don't know that much about Tiffany Marie, so. You got a pizza. I can't eat after midnight for my test. Yeah, Nana. Oh. Isn't Chris Marcos in Wisconsin? Yes. He lives there with Connie. I know. Where is the swimsuit, Annabelle? Where is that swimsuit? That's what I want to know. Where is that swimsuit? She wore that a lot. Seemed like she wore it as just a top too, quite often. I think that's all she had on. I think that's what they put her in when they left that day. Honestly, I don't think she ever changed into it. Was there any truth to Candy H's friend? Well, that's the questionable part right there too. Saying that Summer got sick and Candace took her to Dawn to take her to the hospital. I don't believe so. That was Ziggy Valero. I don't think she's in here, but wasn't that her, or was that the other person? I don't know. There's so many people that claimed the stories. No, I don't. I don't believe that. I don't believe there is truth to that. I don't know, but that the story doesn't line up with anything else that anybody's ever said. Smarmy, right? Oh, yes. I'm sure he has a good line of BS, huh? Oh, well. At least he's working, huh? I believe the swimsuit was I don't think the swimsuit was Alessia. I could be wrong. I'll have to look. What happened to that family after the trip from Wisconsin? What did happen? Yeah, I don't see the bruises either, Annabelle. I don't know, everywhere people, oh, look, Summer's hands are swollen. Remember that one where she's holding the puppy and somebody said, oh, look, she has cigarette burns on all of her fingers. No, her hands were clasped, and those were the fingernails of her other hand. Those were not cigarette burns on her fingers. Just, I don't know, people just overanalyzing things and looking for things to be wrong and making things up. Anytime there's a shadow or, you know, food on their face or dirt or I don't know. When we were kids, we played outside all day long and we were pretty dirty. Yes, Lisa Klockner, definitely. I don't, yes, definitely. What do you think it was? Anybody have any ideas? I know Wisconsin Mom and I have talked about this before that. What caused that? What caused that decline? I don't know, I don't know. I guess we could guess all day, but yeah, PG thinks it's in the box. PG, I don't want to go there either. Hi, Graham. I'm glad you could join us. That was what Ziggy V said. Okay, Ziggy V. I know that the FBI did go to her house in October and got her notes from that call. I know that because I was the one that reported it. And and they also went to Critical K's house. She lives here in Michigan. And then like a year later, Ziggy said, oh, they came again to her house and got some more notes and had that receipt. I don't know. I didn't pay attention because people said that the receipt was fake. I don't know. They dug into it and analyzed it. I don't think that the FBI is going to not get everything they need on the first go around. That's all I have to say about that, I guess. I don't know. Do you think Candace could have gotten back on meth? I don't think, no, I don't think so. And Candace actually is more into drinking. I think she'll do the drugs occasionally with Don. Don is the druggie. Candace prefers alcohol. I mean, neither one of them look like meth heads. And I've never heard anybody say, I mean, I know people that have been there and saw them doing drugs and said they were doing crack. So I suppose anything's possible, though. Have you discussed C's first husband? Okay, she was not married to Andrew. Don is the only person she's ever been married to. His record of escalating violence. He's definitely violent. There is no doubt about that. No, I do not believe so. No, because I mean, that whole thing was 6 years before Rose went missing. So, yeah, I don't think that any of them had any contact with him. Although we might have more on that a little bit later. The pics of Summer in Gatlinburg. Oh, yeah. Alessia, you mean the pictures of the boy pretending to be Summer at Gatlinburg? Whatever. Okay, thanks, Murgatroyd. Thanks for being here. Have a good night, babe. The decline. Hi, Amy Lou. Yes, the decline can be seen in Candace as well. She did take care of herself. She looked like she had makeup. Her hair was always very well taken care of, long. She dressed to show off her cleavage. And after that, yep, it just all went to hell. There's something there. There is no doubt something that happened at that pivotal time where everything went downhill. Does that have anything to do with Summer disappearing? That I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Could be. I'm sure, drugs are involved in Rose, and peripherally, and I think that drugs were involved with Summer in some way. I thought Don and Candace met in the summer of 2008. I don't know. Rose disappeared in August 21st, 2009, and Josie was almost a year old. So, I don't know. It's hard to pin everything down, that's for sure. I'd have to look at exactly the month Josie was born, but she might even been pregnant with the second one by then, but I don't think that happened until she got to Tennessee. I'd have to look back. When Don's mom died, Candace was pregnant with the second boy. Was almost about to be born. What happened to all these so-called people that put the wells down? I got to come back to you, Chapstick. The summer of 2008. I got to think about that. It had to be, I don't know. I'll pin that down a little more exact and talk about that next time. But that boyfriend died 2008, right? And he had already moved on. But yeah. I don't know. It's kind of murky, isn't it? I'm with you. Well, he must have been born in January of 2009, Grandma. Isn't his birthday in January? I don't know. I'll have to look back through my things and pin that down exactly. That's a good point. That's a good question. I'll have to look into that. I do not believe Candace had Bell's palsy, no, and she did not have a stroke. If you look back through the years at certain angles and times, her face does look a little lopsided like that. Before Summer went missing. I heard that Candace was positive for crack at the lie detector. Don and Candace were both positive for crack and marijuana, was what I heard. And Chris said that too. Yeah, they pick at their face, their teeth rot. I don't know. I know Candy got Candace off meth in Arkansas after the baby. Wisconsin Mama, what are you yapping about? Severe depression and mental health issues. That could be. Yes, that could be. CB postage is with a 9 on it. So what so January 2009? Was it January, Chapstick? Yeah, and I thought he was 15 this year. Wasn't he was 13 when Summer went missing, wasn't he? Maybe if we can find some answers to why Don went to Utah. Yeah, I don't know why Don did go to Utah. That was odd. Josie didn't want to talk to anyone there. When Mary tried to talk to him, Don got upset and told him not to talk to anyone. There's a lot of mysteries there that we don't know. And I don't know if we did know them, if they'd give us any answers, but. And how will we know? Don and Candace aren't going to tell us. Does Candace have fetal alcohol syndrome? I do not know that. I don't know. If you look at her picture as a little girl, does she look like she has fetal alcohol syndrome? Does she have the features of fetal alcohol syndrome? I've looked at that, I've studied it, and I'm not really sure. I can't say 100% either way. Candy was a big drinker. She does not drink now, but she actually did. Okay, so if he was 9, that's 9 plus 4 is 14 this year. Oh, I don't know. Yes, he was 11, not quite 12, and Summer went missing. Okay, guys, you called me into question. I'll check it out. I may have been mistaken. I'll pin that down. I know I have that somewhere. So that could be correct. So thanks for bringing that out. Is that Chapstick that did that? Thank you. I'll look into that further. Did you ever hear about that friend in Wisconsin that allowed her boyfriend to traffic her kids? I did not. No. Wisconsin Mama, did you ever hear that? I've never seen Candace as a child. I have a picture of, yes, I have a picture up on in one of my community posts of Candace as a child. Candace. Oh yeah, Candace is definitely has some delays. Yeah, she's in special ed. She does have several mental diagnoses. according to her family. Yes, Candace. Yes, Candace was in special ed classes. Mariah. We'd be interested to hear what he had to say about her. I know she went to a different school. She did than Rose and the other sister did. I saw Candace say what I did look, and she did graduate. That part was true. She did tell the truth about the year she graduated and the school she went to. Candace rode the short bus. Candy drove bus. I have not been able to find out if the bus she bought. I heard a rumor that the bus she bought was the bus she drove, but I don't know if that's true. Nobody in Grantsburg heard that rumor, so I don't know how that got started, but Annabelle, that's interesting. I don't know. Mariah, do you live in Wisconsin? Do you live in Grantsburg? That's interesting. Okay. I think that's about everything. I was going to say something else about Rose, and now I can't remember what it was. Okay, so I have to check on if Chris tried to call Rose that night after she didn't come home and exactly when Josie was born. But she doesn't get SSI. Oh, Chestic, I'll listen to anything and check out anything. That's what I live for. So I appreciate bringing that up because, yeah, that's, I need to sit down and chart the dates on some of the paperwork that JLR got recently with who she was arrested. There's not a record of a lot of places she lived because she was just crashing with other people. So it sounded like that apartment complex was pretty well deserted. That she was with Rigsby. Didn't they say only one? All the apartments were damaged and trashed and the doors kicked in except for that one. Oh, wait. I was dreaming. Where did Jim live in Connecticut? I'd have to look at my notes, Lisa. Is there a particular reason why? I think his two oldest children, I think, went back there. They live somewhere out east. I know Kathleen did not come to the funeral, and I'm not sure why, but she had some reason. I'm not sure if she was ill or what, but I heard that the son is an alcoholic, so he probably has some problems. Candace could do work. She absolutely could. Well, for years, she bought those pallets of returns and overgoods, like from Walmart and, warehouses and things. And then she sold those things at flea markets. So I've seen the pictures of her, of those things. She could still do that, couldn't she? That's how she made money all that time. Why doesn't she do that? I think she's lacking in guidance and I think she's definitely lacking in some confidence. I think she's kind of given up. I'm not making excuses for her. So don't call me a Wells supporter right now, please. Woman in North Carolina. Now, the blonde woman holding Summer is a friend of Candace. There, I know a lot about that, actually, about her childhood. She had a rotten childhood. It was much worse than Candace's. But she's not involved with Summer. No, she lives in Wisconsin, Kate. Someone said that Rose Bly was the lady of the night. Hey, David Cohen. No, that's not true. That is not true. Angel. Hey, Bob. I don't think, I don't think they've ever applied for any assistance. I know Candy had a settlement from Family Dollar, but that's about to come to an end. Because she's been getting payments, but then I don't think they've ever applied for anything. Remember, Kathy said that she tried to help Candace apply for different things, like the store discount cards and different things. It just Candace wasn't interested. I think it's just beyond her. I don't know. There's a lot of help available there for them. And I don't know why they didn't take advantage of it. Although they did go to a lot of food banks, I guess, didn't they? I don't know. Angel and Leather, that's what I thought. That's when I thought he was born, was September 2008, but I could be wrong. There are a lot of Blys there. Yeah, Jim doesn't have any relatives in Wisconsin. Are people arguing in my chat? Nobody argue. He's turning 13 in September. I think jars, they all had photos on them with the missing flyer. Oh, what about the rumor she was dating a cop? That is correct. She was. Yes, and she's the one who let her husband traffic her children. She lost her children because of drugs, Kate. I will let you. She's sober now. As far as I know, she was. She had a horrible childhood. I'll text it to you. Yes, exactly, Bob. Candace does need, yes. And why isn't Daisy, if she truly wants to help Candace, why isn't Daisy helping Candace become independent? Why isn't she helping her sign up for aid? Why isn't she helping her get a job? I mean, Jenkins has to close her restaurant some days because she doesn't have any help. So why couldn't Candace wash dishes? I mean, you have to do things you don't want to necessarily do to make a living. Yeah, tough love. There are a lot of rumors out there about Rose Bly. There's a lot of rumors out there about Summer and Candace, too. Why did Don go to Kentucky after Summer vanished? All I know is the official story was that he just couldn't handle it and took off, and Robin called and talked him into coming back home. That's all I know about that. I don't know. A disability lawyer. Well, yeah. There's people that will help you, though, all it takes. I mean, there's advocates for people like that. Okay, let's quit talking about there was a picture of a woman in an RV at a campsite, and they said it was Rose Bly. There was the lady in Ireland that was supposedly Rose Bly. There was the lady in Canada that was supposedly Rose Bly. Yeah, I remember that. North Carolina. Um, she's everywhere. Oh yeah, me too, Alan Tanks. Sometimes people say something and then that clicks in your head and you think, oh, I didn't think about that. And then you have to um, consider that and try to integrate it into what you already know are facts. Alessia, you're really down on Candace. What year did Don's mother pass? That was, what year was that? Just a second. And I will look that up. It was about maybe, did somebody comment? It was, I know it was about 2014 maybe? Oh, 2011. 2011. And yes, he was just being born right then. Yeah, anyway, there was this picture left on the message board at the campsite, and this picture was left there at a long time. Rose's was not in a campsite, I can tell you that. No one has any news of Rose that is verifiable. Well, that depends on what you think is verifiable. I mean, if someone saw her that night and was with her that night, and I would say that's verifiable. Annabelle, you little rat. I see what you did there. Let's not pile on her. She doesn't have anything to do with Summer, and she had one of the most horrible, tragic childhoods imaginable. So I don't want to contribute to any of her any of her unhappiness. If Rose dated the police, would they worry the affair would come out? Bingo. Yes, Mariah, yes. Absolutely. Where's Ronald Wilson? I'm missing him. Annabelle. You're so crafty. She is very pretty, I think. The girl holding Summer. Yes, I think she is very pretty. April doesn't. No. No, she does not know what happened to Summer, and we don't need to drag her into this. They visited her when they were up in Wisconsin, while Don was in Utah. Um, you know, they were childhood friends, and she doesn't have anything to do with Summer. No. I'm sure she's probably one of the more broken-hearted people over Summer being missing, really. No, Candace, no. I was catching on. Yeah, Mariah. Um, I don't think anybody in Polk County would be surprised. And there was a lot of conversation going on at the fire and EMT station too about what was going on. It's kind of like Rose's case is kind of like the Tara Calico case, I feel, in a lot of ways, because everybody in town knows what happened. Everybody in town knows who was involved. Everybody in town's afraid, and law enforcement is covering it up, which is why it's never been solved. So I think they have a lot in common. True or false, did Don Wells ever meet Rose Bly? No, he never met Rose Bly. No. I was raising 2 small children, working and attending grad school. He's just talking, David. Have you ever heard Don say anything that was true? He just talks. He just talks and talks and talks. What's he gonna say? He doesn't know her. And Candace, shoots her mouth off. Said the bitch is dead. So Don tries to deflect Candace saying anything bad about Rose because it upsets Candy. So that's why in that first interview, when they asked her about Rose, and he said, "Be careful, your mom's listening." That's why he said that, because he was afraid that she would say something derogatory about Rose and get Candy upset. I mean, there's nothing, what's Don going to say? He didn't know her, so. I find it odd that he did not meet her. Well, they didn't go to the wedding. Candace isn't exactly go home and hang out with the family, Wisconsin type of person. So, I mean, she didn't go to the funeral, her dad's funeral. She didn't go to Rose's wedding. So where would Don meet her? And in all those pictures of the kids doing things, camping, fishing, swimming, Don's not in any of them. Don was always working, I believe. And he left the care of his children to his wives, Pam and Candace, and neither one of them is capable of, child care or household care. I don't know. I think Pam's in pretty bad shape too, from what I hear right now. Yeah, and Candace never met his family, and they didn't know anything about Summer or his family. I think it'd been 10 years, Mary said. So yeah, Don and Candace did not go up and kill Rose. They wouldn't have even known where she was, actually. Okay, so anything else? Any other questions? Yeah, the two are estranged. They're not. Don and Sonia are tight, though. Sonia comes out with both barrels blazing when you say anything bad about Don. Heidi, she stayed out of the fray. Yeah, everybody's damaged there. Don's stepfather was very abusive, sexually, physically, I'm sure emotionally. Makes you wonder about Karen's choice of men, doesn't it? When will we find out more about Candace. What more do you want to know about her? Kate? Like her childhood or she kind of likes to stay under the radar. Kind of like Rose's sister, and Chris. People twist their words, make up stories. I was in one chat once when her sister was in there and people were asking her questions, and there was a lag, and like she would answer a question that was asked 5 questions ago, and then it would show up and people would say that was the answer to a question right above that, and twist her words. And that didn't have anything to do. They weren't even following the conversation. So I can totally see why they're not talking. Do you think Sonny visited? No, Sonny wasn't in Tennessee for I think she said 9 years. Do you know Sonia and seen where she lives and where Don lives? I don't think Sonia, as much as she loves Don, I can't see her stepping foot inside 110. Sure, we can talk about Candy Hair sometime. Next time we'll do that. You don't know if Rose Bly went to Seventh-day Adventist Church or not? No. I'd have to look and see what church Jim belonged to, but I don't think they went. Oh, Chris said they went a few times after Rose went missing with Jim's dad to his church, but it wasn't Seventh-day Adventist, no. I wonder what her goat husband was like. I know. And then I found that Don's dad was married before Karen. That surprised me. And she divorced him because of cruelty. So I don't think he was a piece of cake either. Well, and then he was sleeping with Mary's mom when he was still married to Karen. And they're all kind of, I'm not going to say trashy, but you know what? Did we ever find out why Candy couldn't talk to the boys? No. She doesn't know. No one around her knows. If Candace and Don know, they aren't saying. Something that came from CPS. So I don't know. Could be the boys' choice. I have no idea. I really don't. I'm just guessing, just like everybody else. Yes. Her brother-in-law died. So that's where she is, or where she's been. Chris M., yes, admitted that Don is never getting charges in Utah. Chris was told that 2 years ago. Jeannie was told that before Chris even got in contact with her. So I did see you say that on another panel. Hopefully we won't hear any more about that. I'm just happy I remembered my questions. Well, welcome, Lisa. I'm glad you're here. Any Lisas are always welcome. Why would a person like Don Wells and Candace go to church? That was part of his probation from the DUI. He had to quit drinking, which is why he went to AA, and then he had to go to church. I think that was in lieu of community service. Now he has community service still to serve, 88 hours, I believe, 80 or 88 hours of community service, which he hasn't done to my knowledge. I'm kind of curious to see what they'll make him do, where they'll assign him. What can Don do? So I know somebody said work at an animal shelter. No, I don't want him around animals unless he's cleaning the cages or something. I don't know. Guess he could pick up trash alongside of the road. He better get busy doing that, though. I saw Mary say in chat, Don tried to rape her. I don't know. I don't want to get into bashing Mary, and I don't know why her story changes. I don't know. I believe that Jeannie. Yes, I believe that Jeannie was a victim. Although everybody keeps saying 5-year-old, 5-year-old. I went back and listened to the Unmasked interviews, and she was 7. Jeannie was 7. So, and I don't know why people keep saying, oh, Don's preferred victim is a 5-year-old. Well, where do we get that? What do you mean preferred victim? Just because one person was 7, that doesn't mean he's attracted to 7-year-olds. Seems like he's attracted to women, adult women to me. I don't know if you guys think anything different, but. Oh, good night, Wisconsin Mama. Have a good night. Okay, thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I can't remember what church, but that's correct, Annabelle. It's not retroactive, and it's also they can't file a civil suit either. Well, Don seems to fall back on religion at appropriate times, right? Jailhouse religion. That's what Don has. He can quote the Bible better than I can, but there's a difference between knowing something and putting it into practice, isn't there? Like they say, actions speak louder than words. Okay, David, good. Yeah, I don't know why Mary's stories change. I don't know. And another thing, people are part of the Don Wells is a serial killer narrative is that, oh yeah, he abused animals. I don't know, other than the Jose story, and I'm not sure I totally believe that. About the cat, I don't get that. And the setting fires, well, Mary was very clear that Don and Sonia were both in the barn playing with matches. So it wasn't like he set a fire deliberately, or maybe Sonia set the fire. It's just kids playing with matches around hay. So, I mean, that happens. It actually does happen. So I think people are saying because some of the animals died that I don't know. Do they know if Don wet the bed too? Don and community service. I don't know. And I haven't got the scoop on his latest appearance yet. A YouTuber said he knew and he would get me up to date, but I haven't connected with him yet. But maybe that's why he called back. I don't know. He'll have to do that, and I think you only have a year from when you get out. So he better get on the ball unless he wants to be out there in the snow. Oh, thanks, Mariah. Thank you. Looks like church made his life worse. I don't think the church had anything to do with it. And, people talk about the missing child drills and how that's so shady. You know why they did that? Remember that little boy that got kidnapped at the daycare in the church? I can't remember his name. He was a cute little thing. Lady came in and kidnapped him. And then that was pretty well publicized, and they found him 2 or 3 days later. That woman was actually in some of the groups that I was in under an assumed name, and she was kind of trying to start rumors and steer the investigation, which was kind of interesting. But that's why the Seventh-day Adventist Church started those missing children's drills, It didn't have anything to do with anything nefarious. It was after that little boy was kidnapped. So it was a very specific reason why they started doing that. And it wasn't anything shady. Oh, I think he does. A lot of people hide behind religion, Eve. A lot of people do. I agree, but for the Jeannie situation, is still a horrible thing. Yes, there's so much abuse. I heard Mary say, Don's stepfather, Kelly, sexually abused Sonia and Heidi, and she wasn't sure about Don, but she wouldn't be surprised. And then she said that her mother, Patricia, was also sexually abused. I don't know, Utah is the worst state I know for incest and child sexual abuse for some reason. Does it have something to do with the church being so insular? I don't know. You don't hear as much about the Amish, but it's the same thing with them. They sweep that under the carpet. Girls get pregnant by their dad or their brothers and they hide it. It's just overlooked, part of the culture. And that's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. Robin Lane. Yes, I don't understand Robin Lane. I used to think she was a goody two-shoes and really sincere. But then after she helped them set up that fake hospital thing with Candace's heart, that made me look at her in a different light. I don't think she's all as good as what she seems. She's another person that doesn't seem all too sad that Summer's missing, does she? She says she is, but she's entirely too cheerful and animated around that. Yes, KU, yes. People who've been in jail rehab have certain classes and they learn certain words and phrases. Yes. And I was just talking to someone tonight that was messaging me about Don communicating with them and always being so respectful, like when the police came to the hotel, yes sir, no sir, he's all that's all prison. That's all con behavior. That's where that comes from. They are super respectful. I don't know. I did hear that Robin and David Dotson had an affair. Didn't Robin's ex-husband say that or something? I don't know if that was true or not. Oh, yes, Alan Tank said it's a good thing that the boys, yes, are breaking free from that. You're absolutely right. Most likely Don endured that. Yes, I believe that too. They don't all abuse. Yes. I can't say why. The red truck poster, at that time, I had also heard that the red truck was eliminated, David, and you know how that started was that red truck with the ladder racks that was found abandoned on the side of the road. There was pictures of it. That was ruled out. The police checked into that, and that was not the truck. So at that time, I think there was some misunderstanding because I thought that the red truck was ruled out too at that time. But yeah, she should not have taken the initiative to cross that off those posters. I believe Don's biological father is just like Don. I don't think so. I don't know. No one's ever said that. I don't know. Could be. You know, Mary said that her sister's husband abused her for 5 years too. Her sister Debbie's husband. So, I don't know. I'm glad I wasn't a kid growing up in Utah. Dad, me said what, Annabelle? I already know it's going to be something false. The hospital thing made me mad. Yes, Tim, I call that the Don Wells Redemption Tour. Tim and Don cooked that up. I know that for a fact. And they planned that with Candace needing the life and death heart surgery. And then they did the video searching for Summer Wells when they went through the woods, mainly videotaping the leaves in the woods. That was about that. And then they did the dog trail video with Don. And, you know, I think it seemed to work because after that, the tide really did seem to turn towards the Wells. Before that, they were pretty universally shunned and hated. And then it started to turn. Daisy turned. I don't know what it was about that. I mean, couldn't people see through that? Couldn't people see Don and Tim's manipulation in that? I don't know. It's hard to believe. They didn't even look under a leaf. They just showed pictures of the leaves. They weren't searching for Summer. I'd be called a troll for. Nobody's a troll. My chat is so awesome. Blow my nose. It's not in my nose, Wisconsin, Mom, I wish. I used to work with children and adults in these situations. I couldn't handle their bullshit. You know, I thought about becoming a CASA, and that's here in Michigan is, you know, the child advocate for child custody cases and things. But then the more I looked into it, and, you know, the classes were starting here, I was going to register, and it's quite a bit of training. And then you're assigned a case, and, you know, you investigate and testify in court through the whole length of the thing. And because I'm a paralegal and I like research and things, I thought that would be a good use of my talents. But the more you look at it, you know, child custody cases and things are so volatile. I just thought it was almost too dangerous. I mean, people get killed over that. It's like divorce kind of animosity. It's kind of scary. I mean, kudos to people who do that. Don and Candace owned a dark maroon 80s conversion van. Yep. So no one can tell me that Tim Mullins is a Christian, God-fearing man. You know, but I've done Tim Mullins' family tree, and he does come from a religious family. His dad was, I believe, a minister. His mom was in Christian music. Tim went to college for music. They do seem to be quite, you know, sincere. I don't know what Tim's angle is in all this. I really don't. I do know that Tim is not a goad, and there's not a goad in Tim's family tree. Tim's family comes from Ohio. But why is he even involved at all? What connects him to Don? Yeah, I don't understand that at all. Tim kicked a leaf. Jody has me blocked. You know, Jody is sharper than she thinks because that blue Solo Cup, he popped up again last night. He was in Ziggy's. Where did he come from before he went to Ziggy? I can't remember. that same night. And then he went to Ziggy. And then last night he was in Crystal's. People said he was on Ernie's panel a lot. And when he started talking about things, and then Jody Sue broke that down and debunked it that night, that was hilarious. I never have listened to her, but I saw her discussing it. And he said that Jody Sue, he didn't know her, then he did know her, then he didn't know her. Then she used to deliver pot in buckets to his trailer when she was 9. I don't know. She was so funny acting it all out. And then he didn't know Fred. And then he did know Fred. And then he knew him by sight. And then the next thing you know, he's in Burger King having coffee with Fred and Don. He had a problem keeping his story straight. Yeah, I don't know what Tim's up to. Yes, Don's dad. I know Bob. And I know how to pronounce Chillicothe too. He was from Ohio. Yeah, people think he was from Utah, but that is not true. He was a transplant. I'd like to know how he met that first wife and ended up in Utah. I'm interested in how people from different areas of the country meet. Hmm. Oh, Kate, you. Don't you read my posts? I don't know how he ended up in Utah. She was from Utah. His first wife there. And after she divorced him, she got married pretty quickly right after that, too. He didn't get married again for a while. I don't know. I don't know how they met. Yeah, I don't. Not even just kids, but any adults, rape survivors. I think we've all had some, or almost everyone I know has had some type of sexual assault in their background. But rape, like my girlfriend said, they might rape me, but they'd have to kill me first. And that's the way I've always felt. I don't know how you could come back from that. I don't think I could. I don't think I could be strong enough. I just don't. I just, that has to be one of the worst things possible. Oh, Amy Lou. Good catch. Good catch. That is a good catch. Huh. I might have to dig into that a little further. Thanks for bringing that up. I have put that on my list of things to look into. Well, life knocks you down and you just get up and go on, don't you? I think it's sad that people that mean so much to us die and then life goes on. I guess it has to, but the next day everybody gets up and goes to work and just is so unaffected. Is that when things didn't affect Summer? Did anybody ever really truly bond with her? It seems like Dawn did. I mean, am I wrong? She just clings to him in all those pictures. It looks like she really loved him. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that he abused her. Where are Mullins from in Ohio? Okay, I'd have to go back and look. I have the name of the college that Tim went to there too. I have a lot of information on Tim's family. I'll message it to you. I can't think right now. Okay, well, it's pretty late. I got some heart tests tomorrow, so I got to get to bed. I have to go without my beloved Diet Coke for 12 hours. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. So thanks everybody for being here. My dad always told me that. Oh my God, my dad's, yeah. When my dad goes, I don't know how I'll go on. I don't know. I don't know how people do it. I don't know. I told my dad to better hang on because I'm not ready to take over the ship yet. And he asked, why do you think it's sinking? Good night, Bob. Thanks for joining us. Always good to see you. You go say hi to PG now. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, glad you were here, Alan Tanks. Thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. That's a really, really good chat. You know, I don't know where Ronald Wilson was. He must not have got the notification, but I've never had any trolls in my chat, so I'm very thankful for that. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you again next time. Good night.